Hello. On day 4 of the advanced programming class, and we're going to get into doing another example problem 2, which is going to be learning how to loop a program. It's part of the concepts in this, and so there's a do while and there's do until. There's several different structures, but we'll be doing I think example problem 2A and 2B during this module. But before we get in, I just wanted to go back to the web resource page. I'm in Canvas. I'm at the help at the welcoming, and I'm expanding the software and web resource page. If I scroll down and I go to the area at the bottom where I have VDOT, and I want to quickly look at the infrastructural framework of this class, so you guys understand the curriculum that you're getting into. So if you can right click and open in new tab, okay, and that'll take you directly to the VDOT advanced programming. Now this is a PDF file that has 86 pages. It's a lot. I'm not going to dissect just a couple pages at the very beginning to show you. I've dropped down to like the second page where it's task and competency list. So if you haven't yet, I want you just to scroll through this, read some of the terminologies, read some of the concepts that is going to be rolling out in this class. So some of it may sound familiar, but I mean, you got a lot on your belt last year, and we're going to continue building. We're going to try to pick up, for the most part, where we left last year. So just run your eyes through these. These are some of the concepts you're getting into, and I highlight this one right here, number 10. This is where the year is starting. We're getting into looping and looping structures. But we're going to go back to GUI. We're going to go back to forms. We're going to have to do ADO. This is where the database comes into play, where you're going to be writing a program that ties itself to an access program. So your infrastructure is talking to a database. So we're going to be doing the GUI, like I just said, in the database application. This is going to be fun. This is where hopefully we're back in the classroom, and we will be rolling out the Game Maker software with you. But there's curriculum with regards to learning how to game. Last year, you very well may built storyboards using Alice. This year, we're moving on to building games. So that's going to occur in the third 9 weeks. So just do your best to run through this. It's not many. I see 42 tasks. So the lessons, the lecture, the content will be pulled from this competency list. So I'm basically going to close that out and go back to Canvas. If I jump to Canvas and then go back to the modules and drill down to module number 1. Right here, example problem 2A simulation. So I'm expanding that and giving you guys a chance to look what we're doing today. All right. So we're going to be in the example problems. We're going to do the example problems before we get down into the assignment section. But what we have here is going through 2 notes, an overview of the 3 basic structures, and the third one is going to be looping, and then we're going to get into the do-while control structure, and that's going to be working 2 different example problems, which I'll call example 2A and 2B. All right, so understand that there will be a tail end, very similar to last class period where you took snapshots, dumped it into a Word program, and uploaded. Going to be taking the same thing with example problem 2. You are going to be having the right flowchart, so I'll show you a method of what you can obtain your flowchart in this document as well. So there's going to be several screenshots, but one file, all the screenshots in one file uploaded to this area. So if you haven't already, I'm going to right click and go into the advanced programming page. I'm already logged in. Okay. So once you log in, lab 2122, Bobcats, drill into the first 9 weeks, drill into module 1. I'm in module 1 right now. So I'm going to proceed forward. And so I'm scrolling down to the notes section that you see here. And in this notes section, you see 2 links. I'm going to start today with the notes on the 3 basic control structures. So once again, I'm asking you to right click and open a new tab. This new tab opens up. Okay, so where you did something on the side of the simple secret control problem. That was more or less a review, last class period, example 1, and hopefully you have successfully uploaded that, okay? And that this is a simple secret control problem and pretty straightforward. Last year we got into the if then else when a structure goes multiple, one of two paths and comes down. We're actually going to be going after this looping structure, going to be looking at case structure potentially. So that could be something that we're going to be looking at as well, and you could see that again. But then we have the do while and do until. And so this is just an example of a simple loop program that you're going to be getting today, where the program continues to do something until it meets a criteria. And this is scenario right here, it's counting numbers, okay? And as soon as the value of count reaches 10, it's going to then, the program will stop. You could have a program that is seeking out the last name Johnson, and you could have a database of 1,000 names. And when it reads every single name and pulls out and prints those people with the last name Johnson. That's an example of a loop program. So these are the basic structure. I'm not going to go more in this, but you just overview this so you're getting your feet wet again of the if then else. We're going to see if then else structures in future programs again. So it's good to understand what's going on with the flowchart and the structure. So I'm going to go back to the website. I'm now going to be moving forward with the DOWHILE control structure. So I'm going to ask you guys to right click and open new. I have this tab already open, so I'm going to jump there right now, and I'm going to go all the way to the top. So we're just going to be talking about the do while today, but there is notes on do until as well, but I'm going to put that in the back burner. Okay, so there's a different philosophy with the do while and do until. Okay, so a lot of times what happens is some test is done inside the loop and some tests are done outside the loop that brings you in the loop. So you know, here's truly the definition of what's going on here. We will be doing a simulation of example problem A, and this is A right here, that example of A, where you're going to have to write the code here and write the flow chart. But I'm going to be asking you guys to start with the flow chart, okay? And I'm going to dissect this as you're writing the flow chart. So if I pull up my picture handy dandy, ladies and gentlemen, I basically have written a flow chart like this on a piece of paper that imitates the flow chart here. If I flop back to the computer and I go to this file right here, you see this is my, again, documents folder. Inside my document folder, advanced programming, I have two pictures. Okay, so I've written both of these flowcharts as me modeling you. I took my then phone, ladies and gentlemen, and I took a picture of the flowchart with my phone, and then I took that image and emailed it to myself, and I downloaded on the computer. If you feel like you can hook your phone up to the computer and pull it down that way, that's another method. But you're needing to get a picture, a snapshot of the written flowchart with this. So if I take us back to the notes, and I'm going to work this first problem with you, your first step in this is to model this. Write this on a piece of paper, sketch this out, okay? Put your name at the top, put example problem 2A, and I'll show you the ending product, okay? So once you're done, take a snapshot of that. So I'm now jumping into the writing the program. I'm just going to work with you just a little bit on this. So if you can go finish the flow chart, pause the video, and then move on with launching a Visual Studios program. So I actually have a Visual Studios program open right now, and I'm going to conduct the save as with you guys. All right. So I'm going to go file, new project. All right. And so knowing that we had used the console application last class period, identify that this is still hovering in the same place. We're not doing window form application right now. We're doing console application, strictly coding. And so I'm coming down here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to give the file name example 2A, because we're going to be doing two example problems in this, and there's going to be a 2A and 2B. So I'm just doing the first one, 2A. If you have to hit the browse, which I do, and drill into your advanced programming page. And you can see example problem 1 right there. And I'm going to type in, ladies and gentlemen, whoops, excuse me, I'm in the right, I'm going to hit the OK button. So I'm going to stop here. This program's going to load up and we'll pick up with coding the program. Okay, now the program is open, my example problem 2A. I'm going to start by putting the flower box into the module. Again, I have the flower box in the objective, so I'm going to go back to the web page. I'm going to scroll back up, and I can see right here at the bottom right-hand side, I'm going to open in new tab. Okay, so I'm going to reach out real quick, work with you to capture that flower box. I'm going to highlight the flower box. You guys should have done this before. I have done a control copy. I'm now going to go into the program and paste the flower box. It's now going to be pasted in. I now have a flower box in it. And you go ahead and put the file name. If you choose example 2A, your name, don't worry about the computer number, put the date and the purpose, you know, counting 10, loop that count 10 numbers. All right, so I'm jumping into the inside the start main, where I'm going to quickly code, and I'm going to pause the video and code and bring it back. So you right now get yourself in a split screen. Not many lines here, but I'm going to talk about the code after the code gets in here. Okay, now that I have finished processing the code, I haven't ran it yet, but I will here shortly. I want to talk about it real quick. Okay, so we're on the same page. Dim counts as an integer. Integer is a whole number. Understand count is a variable. We're going to use it to count a number. Okay, so preparation. Okay, and if you read the notes, preparation is predefining a variable with a number. In this case, we want count to equal 0. Okay, 0 can be classified as an integer. So the do while has kind of like the if and else. Remember how we had the if, the else, and the end if. Okay, this do while operates in the same manner. We have a do while, and then we have a loop, and the loop is kind of maybe very similar to the end if. Okay, this program is going to continue to circle back around. This loop right here will force the program to go back up if it's not met its criteria. All right, please understand that the loop is going to continue to circle. So if I go back to this flow chart of this problem that we're working with right here. Okay, this program right here will continue to loop back up here and continue going back up and doing these steps until it's met that criteria. That's what this line is going back up here for. So if I go back to the program again, understand there's a loop effect. Okay, so if count is 1, it's going to do this. If count is 2, it's going to do this. But once count reaches 10, and if count was 10, all right, at this point, 10 is not greater than 10. 10 is equal to 10. But this is a false statement. If count would then be 10, once this occurs, all right, this program is going to jump to 1 line after the loop. Right, so this program continues to circle until this becomes a false statement or a no statement, and it jumps to the output. And this output basically will hold the screen in place so you can see your results. All right, and you push enter again, it'll then close. So the program will run, see the numbers, and you can say enter and close. So this is an example where it's going to produce a number from 1 to 10. Okay, so here we go in this scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and run the program real quick, and you can go ahead and run the program too. Okay, you can see my output here, and I'm going to let you know I changed my numbers to be a little bigger on this screen. You can do that real quick. I'll talk about the output here real quick here shortly. But if you take your mouse and right click over this white bar and you see properties here, property window will load up, and you have the capability of just adjusting the font size. My font size may have been 12, all right, and I increased it to 20, and I'm going to increase it to 28, just for example. Okay, so you can see my screen a little bigger than your screen probably is. But what we see here is the program writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Which it reached 10, the program kicked out. All right, so this is a representation of what you should be looking at in the looping program. Now, I'm going to move on to how you take the show you steps on a Word document, how you take the flowchart, the code, and the console application, snip it to a Word document, and then you can move on to example problem 2B in these notes. Okay, I'm back over here in the advanced programming directory, and again, I talked about these two images, and I created a new Word document called example problem 2. So if I go to that Word document right now, and I have it open, I put your name at the top, call it example 2A, and then the flowchart, and you can see the picture of the flowchart right here. And I'll work through this real quick. So if I quickly hit the delete button, and I go up here and I hit insert, okay, and under the insert tab I go to the picture, and I say this document or this device, and I get to understand which one it is. I know it. These are images of my cell phone picture. I'm clicking on that image right there, and I'm going insert to insert this image into this Word document. All right, so it may come up extra large in yours, and you have that capability of taking your mouse and decreasing that size of it, until you think it's perfectly fine. Okay, so that would be the screenshot or the picture of your flowchart. You then should have this screenshot of your code, and then you should have the screenshot of the console application. So if my console application is open right now, okay, I'm going to do a screenshot with you with this. Okay, so if I click on this, excuse me, not the paint program, but the snippet program, and I just quickly block out, if I go new and I just quickly block out, starting right at that corner and maybe take it over. It doesn't have to be a lot. I think that's perfectly fine. We're not going to dump this in the paint program and invert it because we're going to be uploading. Now, if I was going in the classroom again and calling for you to print this document out, I'd be asking you guys to invert the color to white, to black, so you're not wasting a lot of ink. So at this point, I'm going to I'm copying that image. I'm going to the Word document right here. Below it, console screen, I'm doing a Control V, where it's now pasting that. Again, you have that capability of scrolling down. All right, so you can see right now with this document, it's going to be several pages, but I now have shown to you, I got the document, I got the code, and I got the screenshot. Now, this is just the code off the website, but if I go back to Visual Basic and I close down this program, hit enter, all right, my font's pretty big, and you may ask, how can I get this all on this one page if it's looking like this, if your font's big? I'm going to take my tools, I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to decrease my font to maybe 10. It was at 16, so it'll be bigger. I can now see everything on this page. So if you wanted to do another screenshot and say new, and then capture the screenshot of your code, all right, it pulls it in there. I'm going to do a copy, and I'm then going to go to the Word document, and I'm going to delete the screenshot of that off the web page, and I paste in that. Once again, all right, you may have to decrease the size a little bit. That's fine. Take up the whole page. So the first page is the flowchart. All right. Second page is the Visual Basic code, as you can see here. Then you have the console screen. All right. You're going to proceed on with example problem 2. Maybe the example problem 2 starts on the third page. You're going to have to bring in that image of that. You'll have the code, and then you'll have the screenshot of the console application. I am not going to work example 2B with you. In this lecture, I just went through the process and talking about the 2A. I think you should have the set skills to now create a new program, Visual Basic program, call it example 2B, write the code, put the flower box in it, and then You run the program, screenshot a snippet tool of the console, and you should have 3 images here. So if I go back to the web page real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I scroll all the way down to the bottom, I have kind of 2 different directions here. I have directions if you're turning in this example in the classroom, and then I have directions for turning the example problem virtually. All right, so I ask you to be mindful and follow these directions. You're going to have to get back to the Canvas class. There is going to be a Dropbox in Canvas, so note that at the very bottom here, this is what you're going to be submitting in the Dropbox, which is example problem 2 right here, and the example problem 2 in the Dropbox. Again, the example problems are participation grade. So this is really your second participation grade for day 4 of advanced programming class. So